Welcome to the Get Published podcast, sponsored by Brodie Consulting Group. To get more information about our coaching, publishing, executive ghostwriting, and podcast production services, go to getpublishedpodcast.com. Hello, I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by multi-time best-selling author Alinka Rutkowska, author of Outsource Your Book. Alinka, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Paul.
So just being blunt, how did I do in the pronunciation of your last name?
Excellent.
All right, I did the best I could. So we're honored to have you, Alinka. We know you've done a lot of great things here in the author world. So we'd like to go ahead and get started. And question number one is, what is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I would recommend that they really focus on positioning the book, because most authors who do their very first book, they just are so happy to finally let it out that they don't really market it at all. So when talking about positioning, we want the book to both fit in and stand out. By fit in, I mean that there needs to be an audience for the book. So for example, for us, let me give you an example. One of the books that I recently did called Outsource Your Book is a book for people who want to write a book. So there is an audience when we're talking to you guys right now. So there is an audience who's interested in putting together a book. So that's for them or for you guys. But how does this book stand out? It has to have a unique sales proposition. There has to be a reason for the reader to pick up this book and not the one right next to it on the shelf or on the virtual bookshelf. So the unique sales proposition for Outsource Your Book is that this book tells you where you can outsource the various parts of the book creation process, which we discovered there are 17. So that's why somebody would pick this book up. And I can give you many, many more examples, but we don't have the time today. The book needs to fit in. There needs to be an audience, a pre-existing audience, so that you can find the category on Amazon that the book belongs to. And there needs to be a clear reason why a reader should read your book and not the book next to it.
And what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
The hardest part, the logistics are not hard. Anybody can publish anything. So it's really the market that decides if a book is good or not. But it doesn't decide spontaneously. Most bestsellers are orchestrated. There's an orchestrated launch, and then the book becomes an Amazon bestseller or a USA Today, Wall Street Journal bestseller. So where authors fail is very often they just don't, they completely disregard the launch phase. So they simply hit publish. And that's basically DOA, dead on arrival. That's killing the book launch. So the book just disappears in this Amazon jungle and nobody sees it. But when you orchestrate a launch, so you have a launch team that you build up 1 to 2 months before launch, when you have a promotional activity happening every day of the launch, and you show Amazon, and the Amazon algorithm understands that the book is getting more and more popular, this is the way you launch a book and have it become a bestseller, and you as an author, a best-selling author.
Excellent. And that transitions perfectly into our next question. And that is to please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that has worked well.
Okay. So one thing that we've discovered in our last year of launching books is it's not talked about wildly. So I don't think many people know this, but as soon as the book is available on Amazon, you need to send traffic to it right away. The worst thing you can do is to publish a book and then 1 month later start sending traffic, start telling people about it, or doing a soft launch. Soft launch meaning you're not really launching, you're just letting a few people know. That's basically book marketing death. So the best strategy is to prepare for that launch day. And as soon as you see that the book is on Amazon, you buy it, you tell your immediate family to buy it, your team, if you have a team, to buy it. And then every day you let a segment of your contacts know that the book is out. You work with promotional sites. There are plenty of sites that for a small fee will mail information that the book is out to their lists. So every day you want to work with one of these sites or a couple of these sites. But if you have, for example, 5 potential networks, then you don't want to let all of them know at the same day. On the same day, you want to space it out because you teach the Amazon algorithm that the book is getting more popular. So the way it works is Amazon sees, oh, this book is making me money. So let me give them more visibility. Let me give the author more visibility so that they can make me, Amazon, even more money. When they see that your book is popular, they are benefiting from it, and so they will help in return. That's how it works.
Excellent. And one thing I wanted to ask you too is if you could share a little more information about a book project that you did recently, where I believe it was a multi-author book, and you guys actually became Wall Street Journal bestsellers, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The book is Write and Grow Rich. That was a multi-author effort, and the book hit the USA Today and Wall Street Journal bestseller lists. It was a very exciting launch, but very energy consuming. It's a different launch from the launches we do for our authors, where we guarantee Amazon bestseller. We can orchestrate a USA Today, Wall Street Journal bestseller launch, but we don't guarantee bestseller. Um, it's more complicated and it takes more time. So the way to hit the list is to plan ahead. So you want to create a schedule where you and everybody else, so either the co-authors or partners, will promote. And the trick here is to leverage the pre-orders, because how does hitting a list like USA Today work? Basically, every week USA Today looks at the top 150 books that have the most sales that week. But, and those are new books. No, not necessarily new books. Those are all the books. But if it's a new release, they will count pre-orders. So that's why it's easy. The easiest thing to do is to hit the USA Today list with a new release, and with a new release that has been on pre-order for several months. So that's how we did it. We had a long pre-order period, and we had promotional activities every couple of weeks. Everybody was promoting. Everybody was motivated to promote. We had a budget for advertising, and we were all very much motivated to hit the list, and it happened. So this has been very exciting, and done once. I understand very well how it works. So now, if there are authors who are interested, and some are, I'm able to orchestrate a launch like that for them to be able to have the highest possibility of hitting the list as well.
And how many authors were part of the book?
24 authors were part of Write and Grow Rich.
Nice.
But as far as the promotional activity, it's the 20-80, the Pareto principle. Mm-hmm. So I think 20% of the authors brought in 80% of the sales.
Oh, that is excellent. It sounds like you've also developed a system too, where you can do this in future for as many books and just make the tweaks as you go.
Yes.
Well, speaking of books, I'd like to know what is your favorite book and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Mm-hmm. Whenever you ask this question, my answer is different. Mm-hmm. It's just I keep reading and learning and developing new books. So I think my current favorite is a book that I haven't written, but I've been involved in developing, and that's the book that we did for DHL's 50th anniversary. We worked with Mr. Po Chung, the co-founder of DHL International, and we're launching Designed to Win this month. So it's very exciting. And he talks about how he developed DHL from scratch, from a few people. They were just a few people, and he was delivering the letters using public transportations. He was going from the airport to Hong Kong city center by bus, and he grew that together with his co-founders. He grew that to a 350,000 employee business and a $1 billion enterprise. I think they were at 14 billion
Wow.
last year. So what he says in his book is that the key to success is reciprocity. So that really stuck with me, and thinking not just what's in it for me, but also how can I be of value, and what can I do to help, and how can I delight my customer, and how can I delight the person that I'm working with, my business partners. So just that mindset shift, I think it's something that can be very impactful for a business. That reciprocity is the key to success, and it also makes the world seem like a better place, doesn't it?
That's always been my philosophy too. When you give back, when you help people, it comes back in a beautiful way. And when you don't do that, it comes back in a different direction. So I love that you have that philosophy because it works. I just wish more businesses would realize that.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Well, for a final question, what is your favorite quote and why?
So this quote actually has always been the same for many, many years. And I'll just give you one line. It's longer than this, but it's Buddha's quote, or at least he's attributed. The quote is attributed to him. It's very simple. We are what we think. So I really subscribe to that philosophy. I make sure that the input that I have in my brain, whatever I put in my brain, is valuable. So, I keep reading business books, and I surround myself with successful people. I join masterminds of people who I consider more successful than I am. And, I'm excited to be part of it. I'm excited, that they wanted me in there. So, we are what we think. So if you hang out with okay, I don't want to be drastic here, but if you hang out with losers,
Yeah.
what are you, what will you become? And then if you hang out with winners and successful people, you will start thinking the way they are thinking. So I listen to, documentaries and podcasts and audiobooks that program me for success. So I know we are what we think. That doesn't mean that I'm a robot and I don't do anything fun. I do have my guilty moments of pleasure when I watch a soap opera uh, with my husband. We will watch one soap opera for months and months because we don't want to watch too often. But other than that, I really do just want this positive input. So we are what we think, and I can talk more about that. I know we don't have too much time, but if somebody, if our listeners think that this might be maybe a quote that's a little bit weird, I think it makes sense to ponder this because I think, in my experience, it's exactly the way it's been said. We are what we think.
Yeah, I believe the same thing. Mindset is everything, and iron sharpens iron. You always want to surround yourself with positive people because if you're spending time with negative people, they're going to drag you down. But if you're surrounding yourself with like minded people that are positive, that want to make an impact in this world, then you feed off of that.
So true.
Well, Linka, I want to thank you for being a guest on the show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
Mm-hmm. The best way to find me is to go over to leaderspress.com/book. Leaders Press is my company where we put together books from scratch for entrepreneurs and launch them to bestseller. And when you go to leaderspress.com/book, you'll get a copy of Outsource Your Book, where we explain how you can get your book done without actually writing it. And you'll also get an audio version of that book, so you can listen to it while you're commuting or working out.
Alinka, thank you once again for being on the show today, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Paul.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how you can be featured in our brand new Get Published business book, go to getpublishedpodcast.com.